Hello everybody, and welcome to this, my first of two videos on the Mamiya 645 Pro. Ooh. The camera that has done quite a bit to change my opinion of the 645 format, which used to be now is like, oh, it's okay. So, this is an interchangeable lens medium format camera, and what it means is that interchangeable lens simply means that you can take the lens off and on the camera at any point except when you're taking a photo without screwing up your film or images. The meter on this camera is based on the type of viewfinder you have. This camera that one of my subscribers, Dave, whose Instagram handle you can find in the description below, he loaned me this, has the AE meter. So this has the AE metering system in it. It has shutter speeds in manual of 4 seconds to 1/1000th and in automatic mode with the AE meter up to 8 seconds. The magnification and frame coverage for the images are based on your viewfinder. And the flash sync on this camera is 1/60th of a second. The target market for this camera would have been professional users. It's a 120 camera. It would have been ideal for things like product and model photography. You could also use it for print and advertising work, or could have back in the day. 645 required some cropping when going straight to print because the aspect ratio is different than magazine and newspaper pages, but there's enough negative area on here that it could be done without too much difficulty. That said, one of my camera repair buddies indicated that this is the medium format camera that has required the most repair in his experience. There are a couple of known weak points with this camera. The first one is the shutters, and when the digital back started coming out, these started getting a lot of use, and the shutters would jam or break or be ruined and have to go in to have the shutter mechanisms replaced. The other is in the mirror box. And what I'm going to do is lock up the mirror and see if I can show you what's inside this mirror box that causes the problems. Every mirror has a mirror stop, and if you look right here where my finger is, now that I have the light back, there's a little plastic mirror stop right there. And those break. The job of the mirror stop is to properly align the mirror when it's at rest so that what's in your viewfinder focusing screen is focused as the same way as what's going to be on the film. So when those break or when they're misaligned, which can happen because they are adjustable, what happens is that what's on your film plane does not match what's in your viewfinder, and the differences can be significant. So those are the two known weak points of these cameras, and one of them is because of a plastic component that's made with a plastic which is known to break, or maybe a design that an engineered design which is not always reliable. And the other one is just because the shutter mechanisms were intended for film use, not digital back use, and probably get overused with digital backs. These were produced by Mamiya in Japan from 1993 to 1998. It was preceded by the 645 Super, concurrent with the Mamiya 7 and RZ67 II, and followed by the 645 Pro TL. So now if you have your Mamiya 645 Pro, let's go over the features on the top as we do. And I'm going to take off the prism for a moment so we can see what is on top of this camera. Here we have the viewfinder focusing screen, and you can see that this is a pretty nice focusing screen. Oh, let's turn the mirror down here. There we go. Might be able to see the focusing screen just a little bit better. Electronic contacts for communicating with the AE prism. Here we have the ISO dial, which is actually technically on the film back, but you can see I've been shooting some fairly fast film with this camera. This is the release button combination to take the film back off of the camera. This is your shutter speed dial, shutter speed index to tell you what you've selected, and your shutter mode unlock button. So if you are in A or AEL, which are automatic and auto exposure lock, You have to push that button to switch into a manual shutter speed. You do not have to push that button to switch out of it. There we go. If you have the motor drive SV grip, which is this right here, this little red light is your battery check light. Off, on, and start, which advances the film once you've loaded it. There, now it's not doing it. Shutter release button and your cable release port. On top of the AE prism, we have 2 dials and this switch. These 2 dials are for your exposure mode, averaging or aperture value. Auto AS we'll get to in a minute, and spot. Now if you notice something about auto AS, we have AV and SP and AS. So what AV does is it takes the scene and it comes up with a meter reading. Spot takes the center part of the scene and comes up with a meter reading only. With auto AS, you split the difference. Basically, it will always use AV mode unless the spot meter reading is more than 2 stops under, I believe it's only under, the AV reading, and then it will use the spot meter reading. Here we have the exposure compensation dial, and the button on top unlocks that dial, so you can take it out of 0. You only have to push that button down to take it out of 0. Viewfinder blind, so if you flip that switch, you close the blind in the viewfinder for long duration exposures to prevent light from reaching the film through the viewfinder and getting past the mirror. On this side of the camera, we have this port, which I believe connects to the leaf shutter lens. Dave loaned me a leaf shutter lens. I haven't put it on to try yet, but I believe that's what that port is for. Lens release button, flash PC port, mirror lockup dial, strap lug, flash hot shoe, dark slide holder, film back release button combination, film back opening button combination. On this side, what we're going to do is take off the SV grip, manual film advance, multiple exposure dial, strap lug. This is where the knob or the motor drive grip attaches. On the front of the camera with the SV grip, we have the release here. I could not find a manual for the SV grip, so I don't know what this connection does, but it has way more pins than this one. So I don't know what that connects to. Also could not find what this little dial does right here. Here we have the battery check lamp and the battery check button, letting us know the battery is good. Lens mount, lens aperture coupling pin, shutter lock, shutter ready to fire, self-timer. Also, this little red button here, I could not find in the manual didn't say what this is, so I assume it's just a lens mounting index, which means that you line up this red dot with this red dot when you mount the lenses, and that's how you know that they're aligned. On the back of the camera, fairly Spartan, we have a film memo holder. On the bottom of the camera, we have the battery compartment, tripod socket. This is a 3/8/16 socket with a 1/4-20 adapter in it, serial numbers. Multiple exposure switch here on the SV motor drive grip. Then the battery chamber for the SV motor drive grip. So if you have the SV motor drive grip, you'll have this. If you don't, you won't. Then inside the camera, technically not inside the camera, but inside the film back, we have the film caddy, and we'll see this in video 2 when we talk about how to load film in the camera. All right, so that's basically it for the first video on the Mamiya 645 Pro. Some things not to do with your camera: don't store it with the shutter ready to fire. So before you're done shooting for the day, what you want to do is trip your shutter so that the shutter is not under tension. Also, don't touch the shutter and don't touch the mirror. Touching the shutter is a really good way to brick the shutter, which will mean you're going to need to repair it. Touching the mirror can cause your finger oils to desilver it, which will affect metering and focus. Also, don't leave your camera or lenses in your car because heat can cause the lubricating oils to mess up your aperture and your shutter mechanisms. And the cold can cause them to get really thick and gummy, again, messing them up. Also, this camera would be a great target for camera thieves. So even if you're just running into the gas station to pay for 20 bucks in gas, don't leave it in your car, just take it with you. It's cheaper to carry this with you for a couple extra minutes than it is to come back to a broken car window and no camera. Don't store your camera gear in a plastic bag or box unless you have a rechargeable desiccant pack. Plastic is permeable, so moisture will get through it and will cause fungus to grow on the lenses or on the components, and you don't want that. Also, don't let it get wet. It doesn't look like it's weather sealed to me. I mean, you can take a look at the different places here where stuff is removable, and there's no weather sealing on it. I guess it's possible it has weather sealing inside, but I couldn't find anywhere that indicated this is weather sealed. So assume that it's not, and you don't want to get this wet because water could ruin the electronics. And just remember, your camera is a precision tool and should be handled with care and respect. And as long as you take care of your Mamiya 645 Pro, your Mamiya 645 Pro will take care of you. All right, so that's it for the first of the 2 videos about this camera. If this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up. That lets me know I'm on the right track and that I'm making content which is helpful and useful to you. If you're an amateur photographer who has taken photos with a Mamiya 645 Pro, feel free to leave a link to your work in the description or in the comments section. If you have questions or comments about this or other videos or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section. I check every day or two. One last thing, thank you everyone very much for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.